having me.
For sure, for
yes.
sure, for sure. So, Chella, tell me about yourself. What do you do?
So I'm an actress and content creator here based in Los Angeles.
For sure.
I do a little bit of everything as far as like content. I also shoot, I do photos and videography. So I'm just an all-around creative. I've dabbled in music a little bit,
Okay.
you know, so yeah, just having fun with it.
So I have heard some of your music. It's lit. Tell me a little bit about your music.
So I have one song that's called Extra.
Extra. Ah.
I have another one called Never Scared.
Uh-huh.
And then the feature song with an artist named Nat.
Okay.
That one's called Rax.
Okay, big shout out to Nat. Vibes.
Yes.
So you said you are a content creator. Tell us about that. And how did you start content creating? And from what I know, you're a superstar on social media. I know you're being mad humble right now, but how did that all come about?
For content creation, I basically started with YouTube, you know, so during coronavirus, like I was doing photography, videography. I had one of my friends come over and I was like, hey, do you want to shoot this video? Like, just come over, I'm gonna act like I'm arresting you.
So here's a trick question because, you know, I'm friends with Marlon Webb, who's an amazing content creator too. And Marlon said, it's one thing to go viral and people fall in love with your content.
Yes.
But the question is, how do you keep them coming back?
Absolutely.
So what is it that you've done and you've created to keep people's interest?
I think I've just been consistent. I've just done a lot of different things to try to see what people like. Like you have to just play when you're creative, so it's perfect opportunity for you to just play in different areas.
Okay.
And that's how you kind of find out what people gravitate to. Like for me, it's always been the cop. Like,
Right.
Yeah, it's always been the cop. Like no matter where I veer off to, if I try gaming or if I try, they do well.
Right.
You know, but it's like nothing like how the cop does.
Right.
So I was just like, okay, well, I like this cop.
Hey, listen. Officer Chella is amazing. I happened to get into one of your skits, you know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. I think we probably hit like, 3.5 million or somewhere around there.
We did.
And then you blessed me with the privilege to actually direct one of your skits, which was super fun. And shout out to Rome, who got to play the reporter.
Yeah.
And what was the other young lady?
Karina.
Karina, shout out to Karina. So that one went crazy.
We did the partner thing.
Yeah. So that was definitely a vibe. So one, I appreciate you allowing me to be in the world that you created with that officer. So my question to you is this. What would you tell someone who is inspiring to be a content creator or an influencer?
I would say to just keep going.
Okay.
You know, like that, I feel like as a content creator, we kind of get, I don't know what the word is, but like when you don't see your videos blow up right away, like you kind of lose interest in it or you don't keep the same faith, you know?
Right.
But I would say just keep going, you know, like don't let other people's timing like match with yours. Like everybody has their own, you know, journey.
Right.
So like somebody like Big Jaw or, you know, Tim Willie or any different type of content creators, they all had their own journeys, you know? So some of them, they blew up really quickly or some of them took a little bit longer, you know?
Yeah.
So don't follow anybody else's journey, create your own journey and be consistent. Like
I love that.
Yeah.
Because I ain't gonna lie, I was doing like motivational speaking and I was dropping clips and I was like, man, my numbers aren't doing what I wanted to do. Should I keep doing this? And I stopped. And then I see other people and I'm like, man.
Yeah, we compare ourselves,
videos
especially with social media. Yeah.
He really ain't saying nothing, but he getting crazy views. And I was like, well, the difference between him and you is he's still dropping. You're complaining about what someone else is doing and you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
So I love the fact when you say you got to be consistent and disciplined in that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a moment where you wanted to quit and just like, man, you know?
Yeah, all the time still. Yeah, you know, like it's not an easy journey, you know, like because sometimes like I'll put a lot of effort into my video. I may like go get a location and pay for everything, you know, and then the video just flops.
Yeah.
But then when I just have fun with it, you know, and don't really think too much into it, the video blows up.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to stress myself out over this content. Just kind of have fun with it. Like, if you're laughing while you're creating, like people are gonna like it.
Yeah.
You know. So, and I want to get into more drama work and stuff like that. So I know that my fan base is really like comedy based.
Yeah.
So that worries me a little bit, but the same thing applies. You have to just be consistent. When they see that you're dropping drama comedy or drama whatever, they're gonna gravitate to that.
You're right.
So you just keep going.
So what I'm hearing from you is you're not afraid to fail.
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? And by you continuously learning from the failures, it has allowed you to find your pocket, your lane, your goal. And I think a lot of times people are afraid to fail, or we're so busy in comparison that causes us to fail. So we never can become exactly what we could have been if we stayed consistent in it. You know what I mean?
And sometimes you may find other things while doing one thing.
Okay.
So you may find that you find an interest somewhere else while you're creating, like, oh, I like to be behind the camera.
Right. I love that you said that, because I remember when I just finished writing my first book ever, right? Entitled A War on Friendly Grounds. And my friend Jeff, he was going to New York Film Academy. And he's like, I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to write movies. And I was like, well, shoot, I wrote a book. I'm going to go write movies too, right?
Yeah.
So I go up to New York Film Academy. I talk to, the people there, and they tell me about the writing program. And I found out how much writers had to write. And I was like, oh, no, the devil is a lie. That ain't for me, right? And so just as I was about to leave, this other guy was like, well, why don't you try the directing program? I was like, well, tell me about that. What is the directing program about, or whatever else, right? So he was like, oh, they're the ones who create the story. They help prep the actors to get them emotionally ready for the film. I was like, oh, bingo.
Yeah.
That's me. But if I would have never took the step to actually go for writing, I would have never put myself in the position to be able to find out and discover directing.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you said, hey, you might start off doing this, but you might actually discover your purpose. In starting here might open up the right door for you to do exactly what you want to do.
Yep.
So I went from that to now becoming an award-winning director, award-winning actor. The accolades come with it, but it would have never happened if I never took the first step.
Yeah.
If I would have never jumped, never failed, you know what I mean? If I look at my first movie to the movies that I make now, that's actually where the growth is. And I think that sometimes we miss out on the beautiful part of growing.
Yeah.
Because we just want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
we want
right away.
Yeah. Or I remember when Marlon said, what happens when you do get the fame? Do you even know how to handle the blessing of being viral? Because it comes with different rules of engagement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how people see you and how people view you. So now that you have become everything that you've become, there's good and bad to everything. So can you tell us a little about the good and the bad of being in the position of being viral all the time? Because you go crazy with it.
So I guess that would kind of start me with the bad in a sense, because there's like an expectation, so like since my videos do so well, like when they don't, like I get down on myself, or like I feel like other people may look at it like, oh, this video didn't do as good, and it just kind of depends on the algorithm of, like the platforms. Like for instance, right now, TikTok, like that's my biggest platform right now. But like for some reason, at first, everything I was dropping was like hitting,
Right.
But right now I can barely hit over like 5,000.
Wow.
So it's like, what is going on, And it's like I have the same content,
Right.
It's nothing changed.
Right.
Like sometimes you can be like shadow banned, or it could be different things that's happening within the algorithm or the programs, and you don't know, like you have no control over it. So that's kind of like one downfall. And then also being like an influencer or someone that's like in the lime a lot, I have to like be careful of like what I post, where I'm at and stuff like that at that time, because I've had like someone come up to me and, like was upset that I wasn't following them and that I didn't know who they were, and they've been
crazy?
Supporting my content and stuff. So it was a little scary. I'm like, like I tried to calm him down, but he was like very upset. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to post where I am at that same time, like try to post it later or something like that, so, but positives, I would say I'm able to have fun, with my job and my work. Like I can inspire people. You know, a lot of people tell me that I'm an inspiration to them.
Facts.
Like I go to places and I'm recognized, you know, especially in other states and stuff like that. That really
ain't that nutty?
Yes, that really like hits home. It's like, you see my video?
Yeah. Right,
you know?
right.
Like,
you never know who you actually impacting.
Yes. So I've actually had a lady email me and said that her daughter had like autism, and she watches all of my videos and stuff like that, and just wanted me to do a birthday shout out for her.
Yo,
so I was like, oh
don't
my
that
God.
don't that,
Yes. Like I literally
crazy.
started crying, and I just like made the video, and I'm like, and then even I don't know if you've seen the DM, like Kevin Gates DM'd me yesterday.
That's nutty.
Yes, and he
Wow.
was like, you're one of my favorite content creators. Keep going. And I was like,
Yo, that hit different. That's like something that really recharge your battery because you never know when it's gonna hit, and people really don't actually know what you're going through. Like people see the viralness, but they don't know that life is still life.
For sure.
Curveballs are still being thrown your way,
Yep.
and how something as small as that could just
that made my whole day. I was like, you see my like you think I'm dope? I think you're dope. Like it was just like, it was super surreal. So I was like, okay, it's little things like that. And even getting messages from people that you know, like, hey, keep going. Like, I see you, you know, like, because people in this industry don't do that as much as they should, you know, because it feels like a competition, know. So I love moments like that.
Yeah,
like,
you know, I'll be in your DM like, look, I don't care what nobody say. Keep applying pressure, and everything that you got, you deserve. Because sometimes when the success comes, so does the hate.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it's funny how life has its yin and yang of things, but people only see the finish line.
Yeah.
But they don't see the race that you run. They don't see you getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning trying to go find locations, or Murphy's Law when you're on set and something goes wrong and you got to figure it out. Or like you said, you invest so much into one idea that you're like, I know this is going to go crazy. And it's like, and then the one you just having fun, like we didn't do a lot in our skit or whatever else, you know what I'm saying? We were just joning like real quick.
That same day.
We came up with the skit in that moment, and then we wound up hitting like 3.5 or whatever else. And I was like, wait, what? For real? That's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny how people really take your character and really believe that's your real identity too.
No, they do.
Right?
They do. Like some people in my comments are like, why is she wearing heels as a cop? Or like, it just be so stupid.
Bro, they be like,
funny.
you're violating type stuff. The comment section is undefeated. I remember I did Ballers, and I was on the set with Chris Lofton. Shout out to the bro, Chris Lofton. He's like on Power. He's blowing up. He's doing everything. Hey, that man is amazing. I want to give him his props and roses. And you know, I had a scene where I killed Chris on Ballers. Okay. And then people are, when did you become a gangster? When did you start killing people? Bro, that is a character. Right. That is not me, but that's the role that I play. But people are so
invested in it.
There you go. Yeah. I'm so glad you saved me from the word I was about to say. Yeah. They're so invested into what they're watching that becomes their reality, and their reality they try to push onto you. Mm-hmm. So how do you balance your peace? How do you balance the success and peace?
Like honestly, I feel like I'm doing my job if people are like riled up a little bit.
Spicy. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, if you think I'm a real cop, that means I'm acting very well.
Okay.
You know?
I like
it's just like any TV show that you might see and they like kill someone. What was that guy, the son that was it's not Power. It's the other one. Empire.
Yeah.
Or was it Power? I think it may have been Power. It's the son on Power. Remember, he killed his
Tyreek.
dad.
Tyreek. Yeah.
Everybody hated Tyreek.
Bro, and people will be mad on Instagram, posting memes, talking crazy about him.
Because he did his job.
Listen, he went on Wild 'N Out, and everybody, and I think it was Carlos who made a joke about him killing, what's the star of Power? I'm having a brain fart right now.
I can't remember his name.
Anyway, he wound up killing his dad or whatever. He was like, yeah, everybody hates you in the hood. You killed your father, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, it's just my character.
Right. So, the way I balance it, I was like, hey, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. You know, like, and I don't let other things get into my brain.
Okay.
Like, because when I first started, I did. You know, like it worried me a lot. But now that I know that people are going to have something to say regardless of what you do, it does not bother me anymore.
So if you wanted to give someone advice who actually worries a lot and they were in that position, how did you overcome not worrying about what other people think and just staying in your zone? Because a lot of times other people's comments, words, or reactions to you can deter you from what you're doing.
Yeah.
So how did you overcome that?
Just don't let it bother you, because it's always going to come.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't make the excuses. Like, don't let other people win, because you're letting them win if you listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
So just keep going. No matter what anybody says, like, they're going to have an opinion regardless.
Right.
So if you keep that in mind, then it'll be easier for you to do what you have to do and not have to worry about anything.
Like, I wanted to drop this gem, right? And it's respect will take you places money can't. And how you treat people, people remember.
Yep.
Like, you didn't know that I was going to have a Whisper Into Your Soul podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you were the sensation that you were when I met you.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was a vibe. It was cool chemistry. We were able to work together. We were able to create. And you never know how a person's going to return the favor.
Absolutely.
So I just want to say thank you for, one, returning the favor and being on the podcast. And thank you for showing me what the hustle looks like.
For sure.
You know
and
what I mean?
thank you for always being so humble and like, you know, giving flowers. Like, you always do that. And I respect that about you.
I appreciate that.
You always try to find a way to make me feel real good.
Hey,
so.
I guess somebody got to. Because here's the thing, like, right, people see the success, people see the smiles, but they forget that sometimes in real life that you have pain that you're dealing with too. It could be a loss of a family member, you know what I mean? It could be just bills. It could be supporting your family, because now once you hit a certain level, people all of a sudden become dependent on you, and you want to be able to be a blessing, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
how do you handle, you know, what you have going on in life, and when you have to help family out or help friends out, how do you manage that? You know what I mean? Because that can sometimes create situations as well.
Yeah. I would say I'm still learning how to do that.
I love that.
Like, I am, like, going through this process along with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm figuring out how to keep that balance and not drive myself crazy and support my family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just do it, you know, like, whatever happens from it is what's gonna be.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to, like, dwell on things that I can't control.
Yeah.
You know, so I help my family out as much as I can, you know, but if I can't, I'm not going to, like, stress myself out, you know, like, when the time comes and I can do more, I will do more, you know.
I love that.
And I make sure that my family knows that, you know, so.
I think people have to do a better job of that, of setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And being okay with saying no because you can't do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because a lot of times people, no disrespect to MC Hammer, give so much and people will keep taking. People will be takers if you allow them to be takers. So I'm glad that you were able to do that.
When you don't have nothing, they're not even looking for you.
They're nowhere around no more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, so here's a great question for you. What would Chella tell her younger self? Because when you were younger, you had your own things. You never knew that you were going to be in the position that you're in right now. You know what I mean? Because if I'm not mistaken, you created this character in COVID, and life started changing even more after this character. So what would you tell 18-year-old Chella? What would you tell 15-year-old Chella? What would you tell your younger self?
Don't get distracted by boys, for sure. Like, don't do it. Just let it come. You know, like, I feel like I was chasing after love. Don't do that.
I've been there. Guilty.
Yeah. And to not, just like we were talking about earlier, don't let words bother you.
Yeah.
You know, like, people would tell me what they thought I was going to be. Yeah. And I would, like, kind of listen. Yeah. So, like, whatever I want to do, like, just do it. Yeah. Don't think about it. Don't care what people think. Just do it.
You on your Nike swag right now.
Yeah,
Shout out to Nike. Just do it. It's funny because it's funny how God, I believe in God, just for me, how he allows things to work out, right? Because we just had another young man named Furious Styles on the last show, and he talked about words and how words can become spells. And if we accept or believe what other people tell us, we're allowing them to put a spell on us because now we're no longer moving how we was moving before someone said something. So you have to protect your mind, your heart, and all due diligence and speak life over your life, like positive affirmations and positive things over your life, so that way you can stay encouraged, because the haters are not going to stop coming. The haters are a part of the balance of the success. And
also to be confident.
Yes.
You know, that's another thing I would tell myself. Like, I lack that. You know, like right now I can walk into any room and I shine,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
prior I would, you know, like be a little timid and, you know, be scared to talk to people. Like there's no one I will not talk to now.
Okay.
You know, so definitely tell my younger self to be confident.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is a misconception about you?
A misconception.
Yeah. And, you know, people see all the fame or people see the beauty. What's a misconception about you?
Like I don't really necessarily know, but I would guess like that I'm like bougie or stuck up or something. No, stop.
No, I'm just playing. You good? I'm just teasing.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would think people probably like just by looking at me, they probably like, oh, I wouldn't like talk to her. Or she seems mean or something like that. But like, I'm very sociable, you know.
That's
like,
a Snapple fact.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm very humble.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that like have followings the way that I do, like they treat people different, you know. And I don't do that. I veer away. Like you said, you never know who you're talking to. Like somebody could be in one position right now and literally change your life. Like, so yeah. So yeah, I guess that would be the only misconception that I can think of right now.
Okay, so I know you have dark days like anybody else. Mm-hmm. How do you pull yourself out of your dark times? What do you do? Do you journal? Do you listen to music? What is it that helps you get out of the sunken places of your life?
I'm a crier.
Okay.
So I just like get it out of my body. Yeah.
That's
like
dope.
I just cry. Like if something's bothering me, music does help.
Okay.
You know, like listening to music. But yeah, that's my best way. I may go for a walk.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just
you
to
know,
clear your mind.
Yeah, just kind of get in my own space. For me, I try to fix it.
Okay.
You know, whatever that problem is, like I want to fix it right then and there.
Okay.
Because like the type of personality I have, it does affect me. Mm-hmm. You know, so sometimes when I'm going through personal things, I may not create as much as I usually would
because you're in your feelings.
Yeah.
I done been down that road like, man, I don't feel like doing nothing today.
Yeah, and that's one thing I would say for people that's trying, you know, to do this content thing. When you're affected by personal life, like try to still keep the spirit of doing what you do, you know, because
I think say that again. That's a gem. That's a gem. Say that one more time for the people.
So like when you're, you know, creating, you basically just try to keep the spirit of doing what you do because it's very easy to like let outside life things distract you, whether it be relationships or personal family members. Like it could weigh heavy on you. So that's one thing I'm trying to learn to balance. Okay. Like when I'm affected by maybe it may be a lover or somebody that I'm dealing with, like to not let it affect my work.
Right. You know? There's a book that me, my brother, and my nephew was reading, and it was called The Way to a Superior Man. And it talks about how you conduct yourself in business is the same way you conduct yourselves in relationships. And I never understood the comparison of how you present yourself, how you talk, and all, how you problem solve. You almost do the same thing when you're in the relationship, in understanding how to separate the two, not bringing work problems home and not bringing home problems to work. Yeah. And I think that's very important for us to find our own mental clarity so we can separate things like that. I was on set with Mr. T, right? And I asked Mr. T, how do you keep your peace? And Mr. T said, you know, he carries his Bible everywhere he goes. Shout out to Mr. T. Shout out to TJ. And he also said that he separates his talent from him. His talent is the gift for other people to enjoy or talk bad about. Yeah. He was like, so there's not one person that can please everybody. People are going to have good and bad things to say no matter what, but know that they're talking about the talent. Know that they're talking about the character and don't take that personal. Yeah. And when he learned how to separate the two, it allowed him to have more peace in his life because he stopped taking things personal that wasn't personal. And one thing that I saw him do is when he came on set, he shook everyone's hand from the janitor all the way up to the director. And he was so kind and so loving. And I was like, yo, that's how you get to 30, 40 years. I want to model myself after that because if Mr. T's been in this game this long, I want to be able to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you have any final nuggets or any final thoughts that you might want to, you know, tell someone to help them on their journey of influencing?
Just kind of recap of what we've been talking about. Stay consistent.
Yeah.
Don't let the outsider comments or anything like that like steer away from what you're doing. Keep the goal.
Yeah.
And if you need to make goals, make a calendar of things that you need to do. Or I'm actually gonna work on a 5-year plan.
I like that.
Yeah.
I got to get better at that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Having systems in place while I'm doing the work, because it's one thing to have the talent, it's another thing to have the business. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you definitely want to have those systems in place. Because
Yeah.
I be getting my big bros and mentors to be cussing me out and fussing at me about, bro, it's cool that you can talk, it's cool that you can do all this, but where's the business plan? Where's the financial plan? Where's the structure behind it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I can talk. No. Because you're going to miss out on millions. You're going to miss out on so many blessings because you can do the talent part, but you're not doing the business part.
Absolutely.
And you need to master the business. You know what I mean? So shout out to my boy Devon on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, just I'm actually going into the new year trying to put myself on a schedule.
Okay.
Because I'll do things and then something comes up and I'll get distracted and I forget that I made plans to do something, Yes, I know. It's a very bad habit that I have. You're not the only person that it happened to. So I'm like, okay. And going into the new year, that's one thing I'm gonna set as a goal of mine to just put myself on a better schedule.
I love that.
And have intentions with things, So if I want to shoot Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday, those are my shoot days. And dedicate those days. And then everything else I'm doing, try to, especially when you're a creator, you have to keep a balance.
Yeah, you got to have a nice little regimen.
So,
Okay. So one last final question, because this is one that I really want to know. I know you delved into acting now, and you're going crazy in the acting world.
Yes.
What is your dream role?
My dream role?
Yeah. Could it be a character from history that you wanted to play, or just what is your dream, you know what I mean, when it comes to acting, and what type of impact do you want to make as an actress?
I would say Cookie.
Oh, like Cookie Lyons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see the boss.
Some powerful, just owning herself, everybody around her respects her, just a very powerful character.
Okay. Like Olivia Pope, in Scandal or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But I also want to push myself too. I can see myself doing something like an Avatar. Okay,
talk your talk.
Yeah.
Talk your talk. Would you ever do any action, like Marvel?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. So just tell the people where they can find you, where they can support your music, where they can follow you on Instagram.
So you can follow me on all platforms at Simply Chella. It's Chella. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, pretty much everything. My music is on Spotify, Apple Music.
Cause she extra.
My name is Chella on there as well. That's my artist name.
Yeah.
And check me out. Let me know. Send me a DM if you want to tell me anything. I'm very open and, open to anything. Open to ideas and stuff like that too. So.
Professional.
Yeah, professional.
A professional DM.
Yeah.
Don't be taking that in time. Well, she said I can send her any professional
Right,
DM. You hear me?
Right.
Well, make sure you check out on Instagram. Make sure you check her out and stream on Spotify and Apple, where you can find her. Make sure you just support. She has some big things coming up. And that's our show. I'm King Jacquel Martin. You can find me on Instagram at King Jacquel Martin. That's KingJaquuellMartin. And you can follow the show. Whisper into your soul. Whisper into your soul, straight like that. That's our show.